Hey guys, so I've been seeing in some comments online, some DJs are wondering if the DJM-V10 makes a muddy mix. So let's just test this out. Got a track here playing. Let's turn down all the EQs. And yeah, look at how much audio is still coming through. It went from 0 to -15. All this is still coming through. And the only way to cut it is with the isolator. But that's not going to help you when you're mixing now, is it? So let's do a little dive into this. We're going to compare the V10 to the DJM-900 NXS2. Hey guys, so what I have here is the DJM-V10 and the DJM-900 NXS2. And I'm going to do a little comparison of the EQs and how they are different, because they are different. And there's a lot of reviews about the DJM-V10, so I'm definitely not going to go over everything. I'm just going to focus on the EQs for this video. I've got both mixers hooked up to the same CDJ, and I'm going to play a track. I'll do one of my own tracks so that I won't have copyright issues. So I've got it coming through channel 3 on the V10 or channel 3 on the 900. Both mixers are sending audio to a separate mixer, which is a controller, which is going into the computer. And on the computer I have Ableton running with a spectrum analyzer. So on the DJM-V10, we've got all these EQs. The low and the high can go to -infinity, which I would say is an isolator, but they don't actually do that. So let's start with looking at the DJM-900 here. There's two EQ modes. There's EQ mode and isolator mode. EQ mode goes down -26 dBs on each of the EQs. But isolator mode cuts each one of them. And you can see on the screen what's going on here with the spectrum. If I cut the lows, it completely cuts it out. This mixer, even though it says it's going to -infinity, it's not actually doing that. Because I can actually cut every one of these all the way down. I should have no low or high information according to this, because it says it should be going to -infinity. But actually audio is still coming through basically across the whole spectrum, and a lot more is cut out in the mids, but we still have a good amount coming in through the lows here. So you just have to be conscious of that. If you're bringing in a track that has bass and it doesn't match the bass of the other one perfectly, or doesn't blend too well with the next track, it's going to be a little muddy with this mixer versus this mixer, where you can truly cut. If you're in isolator mode and you cut the lows, there's no low coming here. You can see it on the screen. Basically cuts it right just past 100, cuts it completely. But over here, I'm just cutting lows here. We can just compare the difference here. This is the 900. This is the V10. Look how much more low still comes through. So, of course, you can cut on the isolator all those lows out, but that's for the whole mix. So that doesn't actually help you when you're mixing and you want to bring in a track and just bring in highs and not bring in lows. Like if you want to use just the low pass filter here, which I like to do when mixing tracks in, I'm still going to be bringing in all those lows that aren't being cut out by this. So what does work is you take the high pass filter and you cut to about halfway up on it. You do start really taking out those same lows, so that this would sound like this. These are now sounding similar. They're not all that different on the spectrum. So yeah, you can cut the lows and do a high pass filter to bring something in. if you really wanted to cut out that bass or that mud when bringing it into the track. Other than that though, I do like the character of the sound, even though there is some bass coming in here when I cut the lows. It still sounds pretty good, and when I'm mixing, I don't really notice it being more muddy than this. So I still think it's a great sounding mixer, and there's lots of ways that you can mix. Now I know to be more conscious of that, and I'll probably be using a high pass filter more if I'm bringing something in with bass where I don't want to hear the bass, to make sure that low end really is cut. If there are other videos with this information, please just link them in the comments, because I'd like to look at other people who've looked at this, or maybe Pioneer has published specs on their different EQs and what gets cut. But there's something I really like about this board, and just the simplicity and the accuracy of these EQs. It's just like one-to-one. You turn the knob and you get the full result. You get nothing, or you get full amount. Or you can add, you can boost it. So of course cutting the mid, it's just really simple. It's way more simple and straightforward than what we have going on over here. But it still sounds good over here. And you get, the character of it is different than anything I can produce on here. So I would say, if I want to be able to mix more easily different genres, I definitely think I can do a better job on this. But if I really know the music that I'm working with, and I know how it sounds through here, and how I like to tweak it on here, there's a lot more I can do on here. But this is probably better for open format stuff and just a general mixer where you know what you're going to do and the result you're going to get with the EQs. This is a little more tricky. Hey, thanks for checking out my video comparing the EQs on these two mixers. The more I think about it, I'm really wondering if I do have a defective mixer here, because when I had all the EQs turned down, it reduced the volume only by about 15 decibels, and the mids were actually cut more than the highs and the lows, as we could see in the spectrum analysis, when it should actually be the opposite. So if someone else has this mixer and you watch this video, if you do something similar, I'd really be curious to see what your results are. I'd also, I'll probably be sharing this with Pioneer to see what they have to say. But I really am curious about that. I'll be doing another video soon comparing the latest 3 versions of the CDJ, the 2000 Nexus, the 2000 Nexus 2, and the CDJ 3000. So keep your eye out for that. I'm Vince LaPeltier, and I'll catch you on the next one.